President Biden last night, I love the Kamala Harris speech. We're going to go into that a little later on in the program. But the Kamala Harris speech was just all, he's a Nazi, he's a Nazi, he's a Nazi. We should unite and put our divisions behind us. By the way, he's a Nazi, he's a Nazi, he's a Nazi. At the same time she's doing that, President Biden says this, cut 4.
For Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable.
Mm. So that's a good, happy message for 6 days before the election.
I've heard that a bunch of times since he said it. I hadn't paid attention to this next sentence. So he says, every Trump supporter is garbage, but I can't believe their demonization. He's just, look, I don't know. Is it that he's just so far down the dementia road that he doesn't even know what he's saying at this point? But whatever.
There's a chance he's trying to sabotage.
There is something. It's not 0% chance he's just sabotaging her campaign, because it totally destroyed her day. Her big day in the sun.
Yeah.
You're celebrating the January 6th anniversary or the site of the January 6th speech.
And I know that's what everybody's talking about at the grocery store. They're not talking about the prices of groceries or gas or anything like that. They're just talking about
the ellipse.
Yeah. What about what happened on the ellipse on January 6th?
That's the big thing.
Yeah, that
everyone's
is the
discussing
big thing
right now.
Yeah.
And it's laughable, but whatever she tried to accomplish today, he destroyed it.
Yeah.
Whether it was intentional or not, it was a blessed event. I love Joe Biden today. I've never felt better about the guy than today. Today's the day.
Try cut 5, please. Here's Trump responding.
Terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says. So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable? And then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know. You have to please forgive him.
Listen to this.
Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
Tell me, Trump hasn't been around the Bible lately and people who believe in the Bible. By the way, CNN said it is just that happened because of his stutter.
Oh,
what was he going to say? They're great garbage.
Garbage.
So stupid. This thing is going to come down to the wire. Now, I hope that it is a landslide. And there are some things out there that make it look like it could be a landslide, at least in some states. But do you have any doubt, Stu, that in the swing states, this is going to come down to the wire?
Yeah, it might not feel like that afterward. I think there's a good chance that one of these candidates wins all 7 of them. Like I was looking at, I can't remember whose model it was. It might have been Nate Silver's, who said the most likely outcome in his model when it comes to the swing states is someone wins all 7 of them. The number 1 outcome is Donald Trump winning all 7 of the swing states. The number 2 most likely outcome is Kamala Harris winning all 7 swing states.
Well, of course. I mean, that's like the number 3 model is Daffy Duck winning all 3.
But
those are the 2.
No. But you don't have to win all 7, Glenn. You can win 4 and lose 3, right? Like the point is that it looks like the way these things usually run, and this is typical, they're correlated.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So if you usually you can't just like flip a coin on all the swing states and say, oh, well, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
Usually if one person wins, there's a lot more likely chance they're going to win the next state and the next state.
Right.
So at the end of the day, that won't feel like a close election. I think people will be like, oh, gosh, Trump won 310 electoral votes. That's not a close election. But that doesn't mean it's not a close election.
No, it'll be a close election state by state.
Yeah, Biden won 306 last time. That felt like the closest election possible, right? He still won 306. It was 306 to 232 in the electoral count. So
they're going to be counting for weeks. Weeks.
I hope not.
Unless it's an absolute blowout.
Well, honestly, unless Kamala Harris, there's a path with Kamala Harris winning this election that we actually find out pretty much on election night, because the first 2 states we're going to know that really matter are going to be Georgia and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And if Kamala Harris wins those, like if she wins those by like 3 or 4 points,
Yeah.
I don't want to say what the outcome of the election is, but most likely that means that Trump has lost it. It's not impossible for him to win still, but if he loses Georgia and North Carolina, he's probably in really big trouble. So that's probably the most likely. Everyone's like, I want to know on election night. Do you? Because the most likely way we know on election night is Kamala Harris does really well in Georgia and North Carolina.
I don't know. I'm not sure that's true. North Carolina.
As far as early on that night, I would say yes. If Kamala Harris wins Georgia and North Carolina, to me, you're at a 95% chance she's winning this election. So, but if Trump, if it's close and then Trump winds up winning or whatever, I mean, he could still go up to the blue wall and pick off a few of those states. They will absolutely declare
a win on that night. Both candidates will declare a win on that night. This is going to be, I lay it out in tonight's show, and it is fascinating to see what the Democrats have planned, because they've planned for all of this stuff. There's a 5-step plan after the vote. 5 steps that they are going to do to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get into office. And it's all laid out. It's amazing. This is, according to Mark Elias, this is going to be the most litigated election in all of human history. That sounds like fun, huh? That sounds like real fun. We'll give you that tonight on my Wednesday night special that you don't want to miss. By the way, with everything that is going on now with Media Matters and the New York Times, they are setting up the silencing of voices across the spectrum of conservatives. Our voices will be lost, and they could be lost, during any kind of recount or any kind of, they're going to start suppressing us hard. They already are. I mean, our algorithms are so skewed against you finding our voice, it's unbelievable. However, when this thing takes off, if there is any kind of anybody saying that the election was tinkered with at all, unless it's the left saying it, if it's us saying that this election was stolen, this election, we have to look into this, we'll be silenced. If the left is saying that, they'll be amplified and the defense will be silenced. That's what's happening. That's what they have in play right now. You have to be the person that can look at the news and say, no, wait, don't believe that, believe this. And that's what Propaganda Wars, my new book, is all about. You have a chance of losing us. You have a very good chance of losing contact with us in the next couple of months, unless you are really going right directly to our source. But you won't find us in your newsfeed. I'm convinced of it. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm convinced that the algorithms, if there is any question on this, the algorithms will silence us, and I mean everybody in the conservative world. They will suppress our voices.
Do you think there's any chance that there aren't massive claims of fraud after this election?
Landslide is the only way.
Landslide, one side or the other?
Yep. Landslide on the other side, I don't think our side will believe.
And I think the same thing applies with them, don't you think? I mean, I think they're going to... I mean, you think they'll believe it if Trump blows her out?
What have the Republicans done to cheat in this? We know.
What factor is that? You're talking about having evidence for their claims?
I know.
What does that have to do with anything?
You're right.
I mean, they're going to say it. If Trump wins a close election, they're going to say this election was stolen.
Yes.
I mean, at every election that I have experienced in my adult life that they've lost, they've said that. But I'm trying to think of it. Is there an exception to that? Trump 2016, they lost. They said the election was stolen. 2012, they won. So they didn't have to say it. 2008, they won. They didn't have to say it. 2004, they said it.
Yeah, John Kerry.
2000, they said it.
Yeah, Al Gore.
1996, they didn't. They won, so they didn't need it. 92, they won. They didn't need it. 1988, I was 12. So every single election
of your lifetime,
of my lifetime as an adult, they have said the election was stolen.
And every Republican in my lifetime, because in 67, 68, I was 3. So every Republican in my lifetime has been called a fascist or a Nazi. Every single time.
Gosh, and how can it have any
Credibility
currency anymore, right? Like it's such a.
I know.
It's amazing that they're still doing the same playbook.
Still doing it. Things are changing, though. Things are dramatically changing.